The real story of Tipu Sultan. 1799. Mysore was burning. The British army had entered the fort. Everywhere there were dead bodies, smoke from gunpowder, and the sound of swords clashing. But one man was still fighting. No fear, no surrender. And that man was Tipu Sultan. In the history of India, Tipu Sultan is one of the most controversial names. Some people call him a hero. Others call him a villain. But who was Tipu Sultan, really? Tipu Sultan was born in 1750 in Devanahalli. His father was Hyder Ali. Hyder Ali was not born a king. He started as a simple soldier, but through intelligence and military power, he became the ruler of Mysore. Tipu Sultan was never raised like an ordinary prince. From childhood, he was trained in sword fighting, horse riding, military strategy, and politics. By the age of 15, he was already fighting on battlefields. At that time, British East India Company was slowly expanding its control across India. Officially, the British came as traders. But their real goal was to rule India. Tipu Sultan and his father stood against them. And then began the Anglo-Mysore Wars. In 1767, the British attacked Mysore. But Hyder Ali and the young Tipu Sultan shocked them with their military strength. The British were forced to sign a peace treaty. In 1780, war started again. This time, Tipu Sultan had become even more dangerous. His army was fast, disciplined, and used advanced weapons. Tipu Sultan developed some of the world's earliest advanced military rockets. These iron-cased rockets terrified British soldiers. When they exploded inside enemy camps, panic spread everywhere. Later, the British studied this technology and copied it. In 1782, Hyder Ali died. After that, Tipu Sultan officially became the ruler of Mysore. As king, Tipu Sultan began strengthening Mysore. He introduced new coins, improved the silk industry, built factories, and expanded foreign trade. He also formed relations with France, Turkey, and Afghanistan. Tipu Sultan was obsessed with tigers. His swords, his throne, his clothes, almost everything carried tiger symbols. Because of this, he became known as the Tiger of Mysore. Many stories claim Tipu Sultan once fought a tiger himself. But historians have found no solid proof for this story. Most consider it a legend. But one thing was true. The British genuinely feared him. In 1790, the British attacked again. This time, some Indian kingdoms joined the British side. The war became extremely dangerous. Eventually, Tipu Sultan was defeated. He was forced to give away half of his territory and send his two sons as hostages to the British. This is considered one of the most painful moments of his life. But Tipu Sultan's story also contains controversy. According to some historical records, in regions like Malabar, Coorg, and Mangalore, there were forced conversions and harsh punishments. There are also claims that some temples and churches were damaged during his campaigns. However, other historians argue that these actions were political punishments during wartime, and that British writers may have exaggerated many stories. That is why people remain divided even today. Some see Tipu Sultan as a hero. Others see him as a cruel ruler. Tipu Sultan also owned a strange mechanical object called Tipu's Tiger. It showed a tiger attacking a British soldier. When operated, the machine produced tiger growls and the screams of a man. In 1799, the British launched their final attack. Their target was Srirangapatna Fort. The British army surrounded the fort from every side. Everyone believed Tipu Sultan would surrender. But he refused. He continued fighting until his final breath. And on the battlefield itself, Tipu Sultan was killed. Some stories claim British soldiers were afraid to even approach his dead body. But historians have found no clear proof of this story. Still, the British considered Tipu Sultan one of the most dangerous rulers in India. After his death, Mysore was captured. His treasures were looted. And his famous tiger throne was destroyed. A famous quote associated with him says, Better to live one day as a tiger, than 1,000 years as a sheep. Even today, Tipu Sultan remains one of the most debated rulers in Indian history. To some, he was a freedom fighter. To others, a harsh ruler. But one thing is certain. History can never ignore him.